I don't hear the shit either. I don't know how it's going on. Well, anyway, we recording anyway, so this the this the big show.
Boom, boom,
Let me see if I
boom,
can.
boom, boom.
Yeah, let me see.
There it is. There it is.
There
There
we
it
go.
is. There it is.
Man, the whole beginning of this shit is gonna be fucked up.
You are listening to the B.I.G. Show with your hosts, Calvin and Garland. The B.I.G. Show is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Here are your hosts, Calvin and Garland.
Hey, so yeah, you just heard us before. So we back again. It's the big show.
Big up.
I'm Calvin. That's my guy Garland over there, and we're back on a Thursday evening. We did a Saturday. We back 5 days later, so we giving y'all as much content as we
Vacations
can.
And stuff are coming up, so we just want to give you some content so you can listen to over. While we're gone, you got some stuff to listen to.
Yeah, man, you can hear us, and and we are live on YouTube right now, so you can see us, and we are on all the podcast platforms. And if you have Spotify, you will be able to see us as Garland goes on vacation. He talking about I'm going on,
just
Garland
goes little weekend, vacation. But we about to do some Bomanis. We about to disappear in the next couple of weeks.
We're gonna be gone.
Gonna be gone. So y'all gonna be hitting the refresh button to see if something been uploaded and. Ain't nothing gonna be there, so you better savor this. You're gonna be gone like Duda for a couple of weeks.
What's going on, Garland?
Man, I'm good, bro. I can't complain. We went to the game last night, and the O's lost. Man, they sucked. But they could not. They had runners on base just about every inning and could not get anybody across. And so it wasn't a satisfying feeling to sit out in the muggy Baltimore evening where even though the sun was gone down, it felt like 1,000 degrees.
And it rained.
Then it rained and stuff. Luckily, where we sit, we're kind of right under a level where we didn't get really wet. And so, but it was a good night overall. It was just good to get out.
They got blanked, man. Lost 4-0. If it wasn't for the fact that we hanging with the homies and shit, they cussing out, 4-0. They got blanked.
It was real quiet. Calvin got real quiet. He was just like, I can't believe this. He started talking to his grandson, the landlord.
he did call me.
Landlord called out of order. I ain't gonna talk about the landlord.
Hey, he was
pulled over by the FCC because of the landlord.
He was on the potty, man. He was on the potty. He had
landlord swinging free.
He had to do what he had to do. And then when he saw me on the phone, he got up. He had to do what he had to do.
Pop.
Hey, man, you do what you gotta do. Listen. I'm old. When I go places, one thing I'm gonna do is pee. Now, it can either be in your establishment or outside of your establishment.
You don't leave the other gift?
The one thing, no, I don't do that. But the one thing I'm going to do is pee. I'm definitely going to pee. So it's up to you how you want me to handle it. But it's going to be on your premises. It's a whole lot of Walmart parking lots that got my DNA on it.
Bunch of parking garages. The Whiz King. The Whiz King, y'all.
At your service.
You see a big dark skin over in the corner. Don't even go tap him on the corner. Don't even go tap him on the shoulder. Leave him alone.
I'm going to get me a shirt that says, the one thing I'm going to do is pee.
Whiz King. Sir Wiz-a-lot.
Hey, man, what we talking about today?
Man, we're going to talk some NBA. We're going to talk a little baseball. We got some one-hit wonders, athletic stuff. And then we're going to close out with a little come on, yo. And so, it's not too much going on the sports landscape unless you're following Wimbledon. And we're not, unless you are getting ready for the Olympics, and we're not. And so, we're just going to try to pick and do some stuff that we can. So let's talk a little bit NBA. And according to one of the NBA's top 50 players, NBA dynasties are dead. And so Steph Curry said he doesn't think there will be another dynasty in the NBA like the one the Golden State Warriors had. Curry, in the wake of Klay Thompson's departure last week to the Dallas Mavericks, he told ESPN in an interview that he believes that the Warriors built with Thompson, Draymond Green, and himself is unlikely to be repeated. And I quote, I don't think it will be replicated just because it's very hard to keep things together in this league. A lot more player movement. Me, Clay, and Draymond, we complemented each other so well for so long. We all brought something different to the table, so we'll see. Records are meant to be broken. Dynasties come in all different shapes inside of us, so we'll see. And so, what are your thoughts on that? Is Clay right? Is it harder to have dynasties now in the NBA, or is that maybe the last great dynasty we'll see for a minute?
Yeah, with everybody going after the money, and then you got the salary cap, and the NBA has actually made it more difficult to make dynasties the way they structure the contracts now. So he could be right, but we didn't even think we were going to get this dynasty, to be very
True.
honest. So
True.
he could be right, but I mean, we'll see. That's the fun in sports, to see who can get together and make a dynasty. I mean, the Denver Nuggets actually have a chance to become a dynasty. They didn't win it last year, but if you can go 2 out of 3 years, you never know what's going to happen after that. But yeah, it's going to be difficult. But you can never say never. Again, we didn't think they were going to have a dynasty, and they had one.
Yeah, I agree with you. A lot of these owners are now, they want to avoid the apron level of the tax within the cap. They don't want to pay that tax. And if you're keeping a core together, it's going to cost you over the years. And sometimes I think you can keep your core together too long and they don't produce. Or sometimes some people are not patient enough to let the core develop. Golden State had a couple years to let that core develop before they took off. Maybe in today's game, you might not be able to keep those three players together more than 3 years. That's what it really seems like, because when everybody was trying to copy the Miami Heat um, kind of blueprint for three superstars. You bring three players together, that'll be your core, and you put some pieces around it. They were fortunate. They had that core for 4 championships. I mean, 4 NBA championship run. And they didn't win 4 championships, but they won 2. But, they went to the finals 4 times in a row. And so you can't keep a core like that together anymore for 4 years, 5 years, because the way that the cap is structured, you're going to have to start paying people, and people are going to want money.
Mhm.
And you want to be paid for your talent, because you only have a small window in the league to get that money. But then you look at some unsuccessful cores. I mean, I think the Nets, they try to have the core with Harden, Durant, and Kyrie. Didn't work. Sixers tried to do it with Embiid and Simmons and Harden. Didn't work. And so you've had several teams trying to build around a core. The Clippers tried to do it. They had Kawhi,
Mhm.
Paul George. They had Russell Westbrook, and then they tried to bring in Harden for
Even
that
before that, they
core.
had Blake and Chris
Yeah,
Paul
yeah, Blake,
and
Chris Paul.
DeAndre.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so you had you have these cores. Some cores are successful, some cores are not. And so I think a lot of teams are now moving away from having the 3 superstars and maybe just having the 2. I mean, I think Boston, when you look at Tatum and Brown, they're lucky, because everybody was saying they should have broke up that core last year, but then they come
Mhm.
out, they have a great year, they get some right pieces, and they win a championship. But they were on the verge of breaking that core up because they didn't think the core was working. And so, yeah, maybe since the Warriors won in 2022, every year we've had it. The last 2 years we've had a new champion, and we'll see what happens next year. I'm sure Boston is the odds-on favorite to repeat, but it's going to be very tough. And so we'll see what happens. I'm still number one. That's one of my favorite KRS-One songs, and uh, 22-year-old superstar Anthony Edwards. He was asked about his role on Team USA at the Paris Games, where he'll play alongside LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant. He said, "I'm still the number one option. Y'all might look at it differently, but I don't. Edwards, he came off the bench in the Canadian exhibition game last night, and he was Team USA's leading scorer with 13 points. But with LeBron, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and some other good players on that team, Devin Booker, is he the number one option, or is he on that good? Is he smoking that stuff you find on North Avenue in Baltimore?
He doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. He's a young guy among the superstars, among legends, certain Hall of Famers, first ballot Hall of Famers, and he is out there talking his shit, and he is out there saying, yeah, y'all good, but it's me. It's about me. So I'm not mad at him. Hell no, he ain't the number one option. But I'll tell you what he is. He's that young boy like we used to have on the softball team. Let that young boy run around out there. Put Bone out there. Let his ass run around in that field and shit. We not doing that shit. He that young boy that they gonna let run around. He got that nonstop motor. The one of the things that hurt him in the Western Conference Championship was that his motor ran out. He playing with this USA team. That motor ain't gonna run out with them legends in there because he doesn't have to do as much, but he gonna be moving them legs around. So I wouldn't doubt that he might even be the leading scorer on Team USA. But he's not the number one option.
Yeah. And on that stuff. It's called ego. That's what Anno.
But shout out to him.
I mean, I'm not mad at him. Hey, if you don't think that you're number one, if you don't think you're the best out there, especially competing against the top players, not only in your country to get on this squad, but you're competing against the top players in the world. Yeah, you should have that swag with you. But yeah, of course, you got Steph, you got Kevin Durant there, and you got LeBron, and you got AD.
Almost had Kawhi there. Almost had Kawhi.
As a matter of fact, Kawhi gets sent home. It was decided by Team USA to send Kawhi home. He's been dealing with some knee injuries. It's believed that maybe he's not completely healed from that right knee injury that caused him to only play one game in the playoffs, and that was maybe the third or second consecutive year where they got to the playoffs and he could not finish a playoff series because of injury, man. I'm thinking maybe the Clippers, they signed the wrong person.
They know they signed.
What do you think about that?
They know they signed the wrong person.
Kawhi has not played a full season for them since he's been there.
Exactly. Kawhi had that run with Toronto, won himself another ring. Mm-hmm. Clippers signed him to that big money, and he has just been damaged goods ever since then. I know Toronto is somewhere like, I'm glad we got rid of him.
Right.
Kawhi is still one of the best players in the game, but
when healthy,
he can't. Yeah, you can't depend on him. So yeah, man.
Yeah, well, they're going into this new arena.
Exactly.
This guy's supposed to be your franchise player. You let go the other guy because you didn't want to give a no trade clause in the contract, and so the Clippers are doing Clipper things. I know they got the money and they're spending, but they're just as bad as the Lakers. I think the Lakers are doing Clippers things and the Clippers are doing Clipper things. So both of the LA teams are doing crazy stuff in a great market, but. I'm concerned about Kawhi's future. I don't know. I agree with you. You cannot count on him for the future because he's going to keep coming up lame. And, he's just the type of guy that will be like, I can't play. And just like he did with San Antonio, they were trying to guilt him into coming and playing. And he was just like, no. And so we'll see what happens with Kawhi.
I can't make it back, Pop.
Right. I can't do it. Yeah, man. Your boy Bronny, he giving USC numbers, Cal. Now, I don't want to be hard on Bronny. Because Calvin to say I'm not hating on Bronny. But he's giving us USC numbers in his summer debut. Bronny James, he gave us the same numbers that he's been giving us at USC, and so I guess he's playing up to his potential. He scored 4 points, had 2 rebounds and 2 assists in the first summer league game versus the Kings, and then last night he had 3 points, 5 rebounds and 3 assists against the Heat, and so. Are our expectations too high right now for Bronny?
First of all, he gave you 2 games of a triple single because he could have dropped he could have dropped the donut in any one of those buckets, and he didn't. But no, man, of our expectations aren't too high because anyone with any type of basketball knowledge doesn't expect Bronny to do much of anything. He's there. He's the number 55 pick. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
he'll be hard pressed to put on the actual Laker uniform this year. I think he's going to be down in the G League, the Laker G League team, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
yeah, I mean, he's got. I think because what has happened with what transpired with the draft, because his father is this generation's greatest player. He has a lot of expectation on him. I know his dad's like, oh, he doesn't get phased by all this. I don't know. That's a lot of pressure to be carrying the legacy of your dad, who basically bullied the organization that he runs clandestinely to draft you, to put you on the team with him. Now you're going to be the first father and son duo in the league. So that means they can't send him down to G League too much, because they're going to have to. That's the whole reason why they draft him, because he's going to be with his father in the league. That's the whole narrative that they're building, and so that's got to be a heavy burden.
2 years. He'll bring him up the second year.
They're going to bring him up. Calvin, he ain't going to no G League. If they send him to the G League, Rich Paul will blow up that team. I will bet you that LeBron
team
James
already
Jr.
blown up
will be on that opening day roster, and he will.
The opening day roster,
yes,
first game.
He will be on that roster. He ain't going to no G League. He ain't going to no G League. He's gonna be high-fiving dad and handing dad a cup of Gatorade when he comes off the court, when he's subbed out, and he's gonna see some time. Trust me, they're gonna try to work it in somewhere where they're both, and it's gonna be on opening day. They're both gonna be on the court. I'm gonna go ahead and throw out a prediction today. January. I was gonna say January. Oh my goodness, July the 11th, 2024. LeBron James Jr. will play some minutes in that opening night game with his dad.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
just
for the press of it, probably, but
yes, that's what this is all about. Game. This is all about press. This is not about winning basketball games anymore. This is about the press. It's about brand. It's about trying to pass a torch. This is not about winning.
If trying LeBron to pass a torch,
he's trying to pass the torch to his son.
Man, he passing that big lighter to him. just torch my ass. Take this and
pass
run,
the torch to him. He ain't even got a butane lighter. He ain't even got the joint that you. He just trying to.
And he probably just gonna eventually go ahead and give him the little matchsticks. Here, take the stick, man. And not the box of sticks, the little packet with the little paper sticks that you got.
Right. He's going to have to do something. Because
leave Bronny alone, man.
I'm not drilling down on Bronny. I got into a conversation with someone on Facebook. He is basketball connected. He coaches and everything. Is a distant cousin. And he was saying, the expectations of, this is summer league. People are trying to play for a spot on the roster. It's kind of like a free for all. And, because I was saying he looks uncomfortable. He's very ineffective. And so for people with just the naked eye, when you're looking, it doesn't look like he belongs there. And he's like, you got to give him time, let him get in the structure, all of those things. And so I'm willing and open to do that. But just from, some of the initials, and I also think this is the first time a lot of people are seeing Bronny play.
It is.
Tell me how many times you sat and watched a USC game that you went and found, USC is playing today, and I'm going to sit and watch Bronny play.
None. I didn't watch many at USC. I watched probably about a few clips and maybe about a 15-minute stint on ESPN or something with him in high school or with one of the high school teams, one of his all-star teams, not the high school team, one of his all-star teams. So, yeah, I agree with you. It's probably the first time many, many, many people are going to see him.
Right. Right. Pretty much. But they say it's all in the family, Calvin. And so, Bronny, he signed a 4-year, $7.9 million contract as a 55th pick of the second round with the Lakers on Wednesday. And he reached his rookie deal on the same day that LeBron James agreed to an extension with the team as well. We already know that LeBron's going back. He took a couple million less, but there's rumors, on the street that, this deal is kind of like Bronny going like cut dad a check because, since Bron took the little haircut, so they would not be on the second level of the cap and they don't have to pay any luxury tax. This is kind of like a little kicker for LeBron. What you think the Lakers are that savvy to do something like that? Circumvent the cap?
Yeah, y'all focusing on the wrong person. Savannah James was like, as soon as you get drafted, you're going to start paying some money up in here. You ain't living here for free. If you ain't in college, you getting you a job. Now that you got that job, I'll let you keep some of that little money, but it's bills going on in here, sir.
So Bronny, she gave Bronny the phone bill.
Shit, yeah, y'all.
The cable bill.
Y'all acting like it's LeBron. LeBron ain't LeBron like, son, get your money. It's Savannah. Like Savannah need her cut every week. When that check come in, Savannah like, give me the check. I'll put it in the bank for you, and I'll give you $100 for the week, and that's all you gonna need. I cook. You don't need to buy anything to eat.
Right.
We got a Nike contract, so you don't need to buy any clothes. You want to go out with your little friends? I might give you a little more money then.
So he came home like, oh, you ain't all right. Here go the cable bill. That's what happened. You graduate. All right, exactly. Here go your bill.
Exactly.
Handle this bill. So Bronny paying the cable bill in the house. All right. All right. Well, congratulations, Bronny. Hopefully you can pay it with that 7.9. He will be cutting off the premium channels. Like, I don't watch that. I did that to my mom. I had the bill, but I had to cut back. I was like, yeah. She's like, you cut off the cable? I was like, yeah, because, I'm trying. Why didn't you talk to me? Like, okay, you gave me, I guess I should have told you that I was getting ready. You was feeling good sitting down watching Video Jukebox on my dime.
Not on my dime, you won't.
Nope. You looking for HBO? Ain't no HBO on this one, mommy.
You better cut on 11-13 to channel 2, channel 45. Watch you some 45. PBS. I think channel 24 was out back then too.
Right.
You better watch
some WNUV.
Exactly. Watch you some homeboys from outer space. Shit on the WB.
The WB. Yeah.
The plantation station.
Right, the plantation. We be black. Yeah, man. Hey, man, your boy Dan Hurley, he took less money to go back to Storrs, Connecticut. First of all, where is Storrs, Connecticut? And what's there? He took about a month after declining to become the head coach of the Lakers. Hurley agreed to a 6-year, $50 million contract through the 2029-30 season. He rejected a 6-year, $70 million offer from the Lakers to become their head coach. And so, again, not to beat up on Big Daddy LeBron James Sr., obviously he didn't want to coach LeBron, but it just doesn't make any sense, Calvin. Everybody was like beating up on the Lakers. Oh, the Lakers, they didn't offer him enough. He accepted a contract $20 million less than what he would have gotten from the Lakers. And he would have stand to make more money off the court in Los Angeles, the entertainment capital of the world, to go back to, I don't know what's in store, maybe a whole bunch of Starbucks, I'm assuming. First of all, who wants to go to Connecticut as a destination place? I don't hear people waking up saying like, yo, I'm about to move to Connecticut, son. No, you move into Atlanta, you move into Miami, you move into LA, you going to New York, you going to Chicago. You're not going to no daggone stores, Connecticut, for $20 million less. Come on, man. Make it make sense, Calvin.
Now, let's not sleep on Connecticut, and I'm gonna tell you why. Some years ago, we met. Me and my cousin met some chicks from Connecticut, and she was.
That's why you can't sleep on it.
No, I'm telling you, she was bigging up Hartford, and she was like, "Nah, Hartford is borderline the ghetto." Which I didn't know. I had to look it up.
That. Yes,
yeah, Hartford, Connecticut is borderline the ghetto. So that's
the only place where they got black people in Connecticut, in Bridgeport.
And UConn got the black people, so you know, Khalid El Amin, Emeka Okafor, all the UConn women's basketball team. Even Paige Beckers is black, so you know, I mean, she black.
She ain't black.
Paige, you seen Paige Beckers dance? Paige Beckers black, but anyway, no, man. Let me tell you something. About this guy Hurley. First of all, everything ain't for everybody, and I firmly believe that the lights in LA was too big for him. I just think the lights in LA, because when he got in the interview, he started spewing all this bullshit. You know, like my dad, he loves to come to the games and sit sideline, and you know, we're doing something special here, sir. You done won 2 championships there. Your dad has seen the sideline of UConn enough. It's time for you to move on. Everything ain't for everybody. You scared? Say you scared. And again, you ain't gotta say you scared. All you gotta do is say no to the contract. I firmly believe that even though the Lakers thought Hurley was the guy, Hurley figured he wasn't the guy. The lights get real big when you go to the NBA, and even bigger when you go to LA, and even bigger when LeBron James is the star of your team in LA. So certainly. You know, and it wasn't like he was going to the Clippers. You going to the Clippers, you know, you got a little cover, you got a little shield. You are going to the Los Angeles Lakers, the most storied basketball team in the land. So I just think it was everything ain't for everybody. I think it was just a little too big for him. And that's what he should have came out and said. He was all that, my dad likes the games, and there's everybody has a price.
Connecticut, loves stores.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that price would be, but everybody I'm sure would have a price. Like, sir, there was no money large enough for you to stay out there in LA. You got off that plane and they was like, well, cuz, what you doing here, cuz? What you doing here, cuz? You better you going to the store? You going to the store, cuz? He's probably like, nah, I cannot stay here.
Right. He saw O-Dog in them and decided he had to go back to Connecticut.
he saw O-Dog and he was probably like, Ed, do you ever play college basketball? What does your mom do for a living? What you say about my mama?
Oh my God. So Hurley, that's a big, but it makes the Lakers not look as crazy as they did a couple weeks ago, because the whole big thing was
takes a little bit of the heat off him.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of heat off. Oh, they lowballed him. But it turns out they did not lowball him, and he winded up going back for less money. He accepted a deal for less money.
They should have offered him a house with a panic room so he could have sat in there every day. Like, I can't believe it. You see those gangs outside? Oh my God.
Oh my God. All these stars at the game. I'm nervous.
Everywhere I go, they just keep looking at me and saying, they not like us. I don't even know what that means.
You crazy. Hey man, Major League Baseball All-Star Game. The starters and the reserves were announced. The reserves were announced on Sunday. We did get a little heated. One of my favorite Oriole players, Jordan Westburg, he was selected to replace Rafael Devers, who is passing due to an injury on the All-Star Game. So Jordan Westburg, who was a snub, who should have been on the team, but now he, as a starter, as a reserve, now he's definitely going to replace Devers. Someone sent out something fake about Anthony Santander.
No, sir, it's not fake.
Is that real? Because I tried to verify it on the internet.
Go on and Google that thing. Y'all gonna put respect on my man Santander. Go on and Google that thing. last night we was at the game and they was just like they wouldn't even call him Santander. They just kept saying Santander. He ain't no all-star. He ain't no all-star. I told y'all that, and that was my snub right there. Westberg was a snub for me, and Santander was a snub for me, but they put him on the team. And I also realized
he's just gonna get on there and pop up.
I also realized when I was looking to see who the snubs were, I also realized I don't know anything about these baseball guys.
All you know is about Orioles. He don't know nothing else, y'all. I'm trying to get Calvin. I'm like, hey, Calvin,
I know some of the I know some of the stars. I know Acuna. I know Jazz Chisholm, of course, the Bryce Harpers and all. Like, I know some of the big names. But some of these stars that they said got snubbed, I was just like, who?
Who's Tucker? Who?
I was like, I gotta get my baseball up. I gotta get my baseball up. There was a time I was collecting baseball cards. Right. I could tell you everybody on every team. I had it.
Other stuff.
I had it, but these guys now, I was like, who is that? The only one I knew was the shortstop that they said got snubbed. Oh, I can't remember his name now. Shortstop that got snubbed. But anyway.
What you think about Grayson Rodriguez? Should he be there?
Well, after what we saw last night, he should have been there over Corbin Burns. But Corbin Burns definitely should have been there.
Who started tonight? Do we know?
I have no idea. They lost the series. Once they lost the series after last night's game, I was just like, just throw somebody.
Calvin just be like, throw him out there.
Just throw somebody out there. But the one thing about American League pitching right now is it's logjam at the top. And I would rather have just one Oriole pitcher there. I don't want to risk weighing down any more arms and injuries. We're already thin enough in the front and the back end of pitching. So should Grayson have been there? Probably, but I'm fine with just one pitcher on the Orioles being there. We got bigger goals.
Suarez started this evening. Right now, they only have one hit. It's the top of the fifth, and they're losing 1-0 to.
I hope they don't get swept at home, and they got to play the Yankees 3-game series starting tomorrow.
Hopefully they
right before the All-Star game.
Hopefully they wake up by tomorrow, but the bats are struggling right now, on a big struggle. All right, and so just a couple snubs, and so let's go into this one-hit wonder, and so we want to talk about some sports one-hit wonders, some people who flashed and never flashed again after they flashed the first time. And so Calvin, start us off with your first. I got 5. Start us off with your first one-hit wonder.
Let me see. I had to throw my man. He had a nickname back then, and I can't remember his name, but even Kobe gave him props for a while, but then after a while, he died off. Let me throw Jeremy Lin in there.
I had him on my list. Linsanity.
Jeremy Lin was killing for approximately a season and a half, and they kept trying to get him back. He was traded from team to team, and just never lived back up to the hype. But Jeremy Lin, there was a time, there was a moment.
Yeah, he unexpectedly led a winning turnaround for the Knicks during the 2011-2012 season, sparking a cultural phenomenon known as Linsanity. From what a lot of reports and articles written about that period, because he really only flashed like towards like the middle of the season up to the playoffs and all. And he did not re-sign with the Knicks. He actually signed with the Houston Rockets and just bounced around from there. But there was a lot of resentment on the team because you had some major stars on that team, but they were getting hammered in the press. I think you did have Melo was still there. You had Porzingis was there. You had a lot of you had Amari Stoudemire that was there, and a lot of players. I think Mike D'Antoni was the coach. He said that there was a lot of resentment of some of your star players on that team of Jeremy Lin because he flashed for like 5 games and all of a sudden he became
Linsanity.
Asian. Yeah, he became the Asian Walt Frazier. And so Yeah, Linsanity. This is one, man, and I'm old, and I remember this actually. There was this guy that pitched for the Detroit Lions, Mark the Bird Friedrich.
I remember
You
Mark the
remember Mark
Bird.
the Bird?
I
Mark
do.
the Bird
I do.
Friedrich. He pitched 5 seasons in the league for the Detroit Lions. He was known for his quirky antics on the mound. He used to talk to the ball. He was always like doing a lot of manicuring around the mound. He led the majors with a 2.34 ERA in 1976, and he won the Rookie of the Year award that year as well. And he finished with a 19-9 record. But after that, he had a lot of injuries that derailed his career, which ended just after 5 seasons in the major league. I don't think he ever got to double-digit wins after that 1976 season. And so, yeah, he was a big phenomenon. I mean, I was playing Little League then, and so everybody wanted to be the Bird Friedrich. And so, kids out there talking to the ball on the mound, you were doing all of these little quirky things because, at that time you had Monday Night Baseball. That was the equivalent to Monday Night Football. And so you had Howard Cosell, calling a Monday night game, and he got very, very popular. As a matter of fact, I think he started the All-Star game that year for the American League. Friedrich did. So yeah, Mark the Bird Friedrich.
A good person.
Thank you.
My next one is probably the most shocking and biggest sports upset ever in the history of the world. James Buster Douglas.
Got him on my list.
James Buster Douglas. He took down the invincible Mike Tyson. Now, granted, Mike Tyson at that time had just changed trainers, his whole team. You could see in the corner that they didn't know what they were doing. It was just chaos. And Buster Douglas told y'all, I'm gonna shake up the world, and he definitely did. But then right after that, he got his money, he got his food, he got his fat, and then he got his ass beat by Evander Holyfield, which started a spiral of Holyfield Tyson is getting bitten off and all kinds of shit. And but James Buster Douglas.
I saw that fight live. As a matter of fact, it was on HBO. It wasn't even pay-per-view. And I was dating this young lady at the time. And it's funny, last week we were talking about May-December relationships. And so I was in this May-December relationship with this person who was older than me. And I was over at her apartment watching the fight. I took my dad with me, and she had cable or HBO, and we had a nice little dinner watching the fight. And I never forget that when he knocked him out, and it was just so shocking because Tyson was just invincible at that point. I mean, he was just mowing everybody down, and so I can say I actually saw that fight and all, and so that was crazy.
I was in senior year of high school, and I was at a UMBC party. My homeboy took me up there because he wanted me to go to UMBC. So we was at the party, and a little later on, people started coming in. And when the guys came in, I was like, "What's going on?" He was like, "Yeah, man, we just came from the watching the Tyson fight." I was like, "How bad Tyson beat him?" He was like, "Tyson lost." I said, "What?" And then eventually the whole party stopped, and the DJ came across. Mike Tyson just got knocked out. And then I was mad even more. I was like, not only did he lose, he got knocked out.
He got knocked out. He was trying to get up and put his mouthpiece in at the it was disgusting. It was horrible. I mean, he dominated him that whole fight. And it was crazy. It was crazy. Here's my next one. Timmy Smith. Now, a lot of people don't know who's Timmy Smith.
I do know Timmy Smith. Yes.
Timmy Smith.
Yes.
Super Bowl 22.
Yes.
He set a Super Bowl rushing record in his first career start, gaining 204 yards and scoring 2 touchdowns. His efforts helped lead the Redskins to a 42-10 victory over the Denver Broncos. We remember this Super Bowl because this was the Doug Williams MVP Super Bowl. Timmy Smith, he had not started that year at any point. He was a reserve who was getting minimal carries, and he barely played in the playoffs. And the night before the game, Joe Gibbs, who was the head coach then of the Skins, decided that he was going to start Timmy Smith, and he had only told Doug Williams, and a couple of the assistant coaches because he did not want to make Timmy Smith nervous. And so right before the start of the game, he told him that he was going to start. He goes out there and has over 200 yards in the game. The next season, he had a drug problem. And so he missed several games. I think he was suspended several games because drug use and a couple other things. And I don't think he gained over 500 yards for the season. And then shortly after that, they cut him. And so, yeah, Timmy Smith.
My next one, let me jump sports here. So I gave you some basketball. I gave you some boxing. Let me give you some tennis. Anna Kournikova. If you remember Anna Kournikova, she was this blonde-haired little slim girl, you know, the white man's dream. And she got all these.
Don't play. Don't put it all on the white man.
Well, she and you know what? You're right, because she ended up marrying the Latin dude, the singer, Iglesias. But Enrique. She married Enrique Iglesias. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
And I think that's why he stopped making music now. I don't know if they're still together, but that's why he stopped making music at the time. But Anna Kournikova, so she had all the advertisements, she made all the money. She never finished higher than 8th ranked in the world as a singles tennis champion, never won any Grand Slam or major events, was in about 3 or 4 of them and lost every single one. Her biggest claim to fame was mostly doubles events, where she did have some minor success, but she didn't do anything worthy. But she was one of the most famous tennis players at that time because of her looks. Anna Kournikova.
Enrique Iglesias Jr. I thought you were talking about senior. I was like, what?
No, it's
about the senior, junior. Thank you.
Sorry about that. I mean, he was making good music at that time.
He was a star. He was a star. He was a good star. All right. My next one, your boy Brady Anderson. In 1996, he became the 15th player in Major League history to hit 50 home runs in one season. He never got close to that number again in his career. I think the closest he got, he hit 24. He was a one-hit wonder. This is a guy.
He's a 50-hit wonder.
He hit from the leadoff spot. He hit 50 home runs in small Camden Yards. Everybody thought he was just amazing, that he was this great player. Oh, the Orioles' future looked so bright. They had Jeffrey Hammonds, and he was playing left or right field. You had Rafael Palmeiro. I think you might have had Roberto Alomar there at some point. Of course, you got Cal. Oh, man, we're about to hit the glory years. Man, that man flamed out, and before you know it, he was gone. Brady Anderson. As a matter of fact, but he was best friends with Peter Angelos, and that led to a long-time association with the Orioles in the front office. And it wasn't until they brought in Mike Elias that they were able to get Brady out there. I think Brady had pictures on the sons and the dad, and he was there for quite some time.
Jim Palmer does not really care for Brady Anderson. And he actually alluded that Brady may have been on the juice. He actually alluded to that one time. He was like, yeah, Brady Anderson, guy hit 50 home runs and never even came close to it after that. You know how Jim Palmer talks. Right. Jim Palmer throw some shade out there and quit. Yeah, you had to do an Oreo out of all these people. Anyway, let me jump to another sport for you. Let me jump to the Olympics. Okay. Let me jump to track and field and Ben Johnson. Who's Ben Johnson, do you ask? Canadian sprinter that was supposed to be the fastest man in the world. Challenged Michael. Oh God, what's Michael's name? That ran for the U.S. used to wear the gold cleats.
Michael Johnson.
They challenged him to a one-on-one race and was in the lead. And Michael Johnson came up lame. If you remember, it was a big TV deal, and he was telling him to come on. A Canadian sprinter found out he was on the roids. Ben Johnson was on the roids. They stripped him of all his medals, and he went down in shame. Ben Johnson, a one-hit sniffing anabolic steroid wonder.
I'm gonna give him a little bit more credit. I mean, he was like a top 5 100 man leading up to those Seoul Olympics. I mean, he was there. He just couldn't get by Carl Lewis. He was competing with him, and that's why he went ahead and got on that juice so he could get by Carl Lewis. But he was kind of like winning a lot of silver medals leading up to
I
that.
can't believe you are defending a Canadian,
I'm
but
not defending them
Brady Anderson.
because Brady Anderson was a bum. He was a bum. You better not even have him in your top 20 Orioles. I wish you would have him in the top 15 or top 20.
I can have him in the top 20 most popular Orioles.
I ain't talking about most popular Orioles. I mean, you could put the Oriole bird in the most top Orioles, popular Orioles. I'm talking about the best Oriole players. You better not have him in the top 20.
I'll just put it this way. I'd rank Chris Davis over Brady Anderson.
That's a shame. That's exactly where it should be. All right, man. This Woods.
Who?
Now, Icky Woods. Icky Woods. Icky Woods was a running back for the Cincinnati Bengals, and he was drafted in the second round of the 1988 draft, and he was a breakout star as a rookie, setting a franchise rookie record with over 1,000 yards rushing. And he had 15 touchdowns, and he had an NFL leading 5.3 yards per carry. He had 228 yards and 3 touchdowns in the playoffs. The Bengals went to the Super Bowl that year, to Super Bowl 23. They lost to the 49ers 20-16, but he finished the game as the game's leading rusher with 79 yards. Next season, he comes back. He tears his ACL in the second game of the season. And then in 1991, he injured his knee again in preseason. He returned by the middle of the season, but he only had 97 yards, and he was out of the league by the age of 26. And so remember the Icky Shuffle?
Icky Shuffle is top five dances of all time. How dare you slander Icky?
Yes. Icky, Icky was Icky. He was on that sticky Icky. Well, at least his knee was on the sticky Icky.
Top 5 celebrations of all time.
Oh, of
Icky
course.
Shuffle.
Yeah, he was the Icky Shuffle, and after he blew up that knee, he wasn't Icky no more.
let me drop another Olympian in here, and this guy, he couldn't even stand on his own after a while. Oscar Pistorius.
You're wrong. You're so wrong. You're so wrong. That's terrible.
Oscar Pistorius was a Now he was an amazing Paralympic sprinter. If you know, he was the guy that ran on the blades, and he was amazing. But he fought and fought and fought. It's South African runner. He fought and fought to get into the Olympics, the 2012 Olympics, and he got in there and did nothing. Did absolutely nothing. But he fought to get there. He won a couple, I believe it's called IAFFs in the championships that for South Africa. But then on top of all that, he turned around and killed his girlfriend. He shot her, and he went to court again, fighting for his life. And they was like, no, we just going to roll you on up in jail because he's serving jail time now for murder. So I don't even know if he got his blades, but, you know, like I said, the one
got his blades.
He in the wheelchair, so they rolling him up in jail now. They rolled it.
That's a shame. This is my last one. Peyton Hillis. Now, Peyton Hillis, he was running back, played several years in the league. He was drafted out of the University of Arkansas, and the first team he played for was the Broncos. And he wound up, me and you can go during the Shanahan era and be a running back for the Broncos, and we probably could have got 1,000 yards. Due to a lot of injuries on that team, he became the starting running back, and he did fairly well there. I mean, not outstanding, but it was rare to see a white running back. That was just not a position that you see a lot of white men thriving in. And so after that, he was traded to the Cleveland Browns in 2010. And I think he's one of the early Madden curse guys.
Yes.
And so
Madden
he was,
cover.
yeah, as a matter of fact, I have that version of Madden here, Madden 12. He was so popular and because he was a white running back, he won a fan poll to be on the cover of Madden 12. And after that, his career just went down the hill and it never recovered. It never recovered.
Down the hillis.
Down the hillis. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to look for his stats with the Browns. I think that he was only with the Browns for 2 years. Now, his first year with the Browns, I think, because he got the cover in 2011.
Yeah,
so
he was a
first year with
monster.
the Browns, he had over 1,100 yards. But that next year, when he was the Madden cover, he only had 587. And by that next year, he was off the team and he was in Kansas City. And so, yeah, he was one of the first Madden curse guys.
He was definitely not Mike Allstott, nor was he Tom Rathman. He was
no. They thought because he had a little speed to him. I remember, I think it was a Ravens game. I don't think he ran over Ray, but he got like he had a big game when he was with Cleveland. Yep, it was a week 3 game. Mm-hmm. He had a 144-yard game against the Ravens, which was only allowing like a 3-yard per carry that season. And so, he had this real big game, and people just jumped on the Peyton Hill. Is like, oh yeah, that's that boy, and he wasn't that boy.
I'm gonna give you one more, but let me throw some honorable mention names in here. Albert Haynesworth when he went to the Redskins.
Yeah, he got that big money, and then
then decided he was also stepping on heads. They should have known he wasn't gonna be. Ryan Leaf, it was should we take Leaf or should we take Peyton Manning? Which one should we take? And Ryan Leaf turned out. Ryan Leaf not only was on drugs, but was stealing from his neighbors, and then he got himself together, then started back again. It just Greg Oden.
I think he's doing well now.
He's doing well now. Yeah. He's doing well now. Greg Oden. It was Greg Oden or Kevin Durant. Greg Oden could never stay healthy when he got into the league.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Speaking of Browns, Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel, definitely a one-hit wonder.
But definitely. He ever had a hit. He was just there.
Well, did you see the documentary on him?
I did. It was
a really good documentary.
Very revealing.
And this is my last one. My 5th and final guy that is a one-hit wonder, Garland Thomas.
What?
Back in around 2012-13, the Baltimore Grays needed a second pitcher because, like Garland always say, you can't always win the championship with just one pitcher. You need pitching depth. So we got Garland, and he did fine first year. The year after that first game, what happened? He get hit with the ball. He get us out there. We shooting back. We about to fight. And then we'll never see him again. He injured.
I did. I tore my bicep. Oh, yeah. It was a rough.
Garland Thomas is a one hit. He made it to the big league. He left the minor league and came to the Baltimore Grays on the big league. Had one decent year. Next thing you know, he was sidelined, and I'm back on the mound again every game. Garland Thomas is my number one hit wonder.
I was so excited about that season when I got the invitation to come and play. I'm like, I was working out at the gym. Oh my God, I was ready. I was in some great shape. I was so excited to be there, to be playing with these guys. And that first year was fun. I mean, we just had fun. And I was having a great time. And I played fairly well. And that second season, I was just like.
That boy hit Garland with the ball on his shin. Garland sat down, and we had this stuff. We hit their picture so many times. Right. We hit their picture so many times. He was like, I ain't even do nothing to you guys. And remember the guy on the other team was like, he said he was sorry. He didn't mean to hit you. We took him. That was Roy ass out there.
Yeah.
Roy was out there making. Roy was like, yo, you want me to hit him?
It was all like, yo, you can get him back.
We had the umpire was like, "Listen, we're gonna have to stop this." We was finally
it was
like,
an umpire's daggone fault because he had
over.
this super tight strike zone, and you just had to throw it right down the middle. If it was anywhere on either side of the plate, you weren't gonna get a strike, so you had to throw it right down the heart of the plate. And you can't do that in slow pitch softball. People gonna eat the pitcher up, and they was eating me up.
That field that you was on had a mound. It was a field with an actual mound. And it was really only one way to play that. If you hadn't played on that mound, you had to pitch the ball and drop back off of that mound. Because once you on top of that hill, you ain't got nowhere to go. You ain't got nowhere to go.
I tried. Well, I was out there looking like Charlie Brown.
It was U-trip, so you had to throw it flatter. It wasn't ASA where you could get it in the air and got a couple times. Yeah, you ain't had no time to do it. You had to immediately boom, boom.
I tried to forget that second season. When I think about the Grays, I only think of the first season.
One hit wonder, y'all.
We had
Garland Thomas
went to the overnight tournament. Oh my God, that was fun. I can't remember that second season.
Brought him up to the big league. Welcomed him to my family.
Made it on to the big leagues. Taking our turn at best.
Introduced him to my family. And
had a great time. Oh my God, it was so fun, so much fun. That second season came.
The number one hit wonder of the Big Show 2024. I told people
I only played 1 year with the Grays. I did not play 2. I only talk about 1 year. That's the only year I can remember was the first year. Only can remember the first. That's a shame. Come on, yo. Let's go. You know what? I gotta come on, yo. Come on, Calvin. Bringing up old stuff. I wasn't going to use that, but no, that's my come on, yo. Come on, Calvin. How you gonna do that?
Because I had to pitch. You were on the team, so I wouldn't have to pitch every goddamn game.
He brought me out there so he wouldn't have to pitch.
Shit.
I was like, Calvin,
I was transitioning out. I was trying to transition out.
Get me beat up out there. I'm older than him.
Shit, I had to stay another 6 or 7 years. Shit, I was trying to get out.
He was already transitioning out because y'all had the little break or whatever for the second year. I forgot what happened because you weren't really there. And so it was,
well, that's because I planned on not being there, but after that, I had to recommit. I tell you, bro.
Yeah, they start calling like, Calvin, come on out. So come on, yo, Calvin. That's my come on, yo.
Yo, my come on, yo. So we got an election coming up, and my come on, yo, is for the Democrats in the United States, the Democratic politicians. So Joe Biden did not have a great debate against Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump was lying throughout the debate. So if we want to get into the actual technical and the accuracy of the debate, Joe Biden wins that. But if we want to get into what everybody looks at, which is the appearances of the debate, then you're going to side with Donald Trump. But here's what happens that pisses me off. Let me start with the Republicans. The Republicans find a way to always band together. The Republicans are backing a 32, 34 count, whatever it is, felon. And they are not flinching.
Insurrectionists.
And have not flinched on him. The Republicans literally believe in family business stays in the family. We'll scorn you at home, but in public, we're not. But what happened as soon as Joe Biden shows a little bit of chink in the armor? You got Democrats literally coming out saying, maybe he should step down. My constituents are concerned. Are you kidding me? This is probably, and don't let anyone fool you, this is probably the most important election of our lifetime. Yeah. If you get Donald Trump in office again, he's not going to miss a second time because that first time was a trial run. He's not going to miss a second time. And if they already have the Supreme Court, who is now a paid court. I don't care what you say, the Supreme Court is now a paid court, and they already have the conservative majority. If he gets the Senate and the House, which he is likely to get, we are in a whole lot of trouble. They've already repealed abortion. They're already talking about this Project 25. But what are the Democrats doing? Now, granted, should they have done something these last 4 years to maybe get another candidate? Because we already knew Joe Biden was old then. Yeah, maybe they should have. But you cannot come out months before the election and say, he needs to step down. For who? Because they're not electing the black woman. You know they're not going to vote for the black woman. Who are you going to put in there? You would rather sacrifice your country than to go behind closed doors and try to figure out what to do. But you want to come out publicly? What kind of brownie points are you getting? I know. You're gaining brownie points with Donald Trump because you believe that he's going to win. So you're trying to defect to the other side because it is flat out bullshit that the Democrats do not stick together. They do not stick together. I could not believe hearing some of these Democratic leaders talking about that shit. We're supposed to be banding together against what we call the evil, which is Trumpism. You know, these are not your normal Republicans. These are not your John McCains, your Mitt Romneys. These are your Ronald Reagan times 3,000. Even Ronald Reagan would probably denounce Donald Trump right now, but not the Republicans. The Republicans are banding together, and the Democrats are sitting there shitting on Joe Biden. Are you fucking kidding me? You know why they can do that? Because they don't have anything to lose. They're going to be okay. All these guys are millionaires. They're going to be okay. But when it comes to the little people like us, we're going to be in a whole lot of fucking trouble. So come on, yo. Come on, Democrats. What the fuck are y'all doing? Get it together.
They're doing what Democrats do. Only Democrats can fumble the bag after a Donald Trump presidency. You can't get 8 years. I said this almost 4 years ago when Biden was in the race, and I was like, this really should be 8 years of Democratic rule. But I said the Democrats were going to mess it up, and pretty much. I mean, I was reading a thread on Twitter about really, if you try to change the ticket right now, it would be bedlam. I mean, Biden already has the Democratic nomination. You would have to, some states it's too late to take his name off the ballot. And so if you did this, not only would you have to get all of his delegates to go to whoever you select, then you got to try to get his name off the ballot and put the new person's name on the ballot. This is July. We got November for the election. So it really right now, they had when Biden got in, they should have already been planning for this.
Yes.
That Biden, you're going to do 4 years, and in 4 years, we're going to raise this person up to run. I saw something on the Today Show this morning. A lot of his donors are pulling out. You already had George Clooney, who's a major fundraiser for the Democrats, is like, Joe got to go. He's just not there. And so you have a lot of people who are Chuck Schumer. They said possibly has been floating the idea that, he could replace Biden on the ticket, and they're not going to, Kamala. No, that's not going to happen. And so I'm sorry, AKAs. I'm sorry. I know she AKA Ski Wee, but she is not going to be president.
They're not going to vote for her.
Yeah,
she wouldn't be able to win.
Yeah. I think I said it last week. If Hillary Clinton couldn't win the presidency, she won the popular vote. But if she couldn't win the presidency, I don't have any hope for any woman to win the presidency. And so I agree with you, man. I mean, this is a tough time. I mean, you're gonna have to. I said it last week. I don't care if he can't remember anything. I don't care if he thinks it's 1944. And he still think Martin Luther King alive. I don't care. We got to fall behind it because we don't have any other choice. And the Republicans have already showed their hand. If we get in, we ain't gonna miss this time, y'all. We already got the court. We
Not
got
gonna
our
miss.
plan with this project 2025, and we're going to execute it to a T. We're going to execute it to a T. And so, yeah, I agree with you. It's crucial, but yeah, it's too late now. The ship is already sailed. You can't turn the ship around. Ship's already going. Like they said, if you, what's one of my favorite movies, Flags of Iwo Jima. That's the one that Clint Eastwood did. Flags of Our Fathers, and I think somebody fell off of one of the ships as they were heading to Iwo Jima, and the guy was like, "Oh well, they're gonna have to send somebody else to get them." It's like they ain't gonna stop. Like, no, this ship. Once we start moving the ship, we can't stop the ship and turn around and go back and get them. Somebody else is gonna have to get them, and so yeah, the ship is sailed. Toothpaste is out the tube, horses out the bunk, whatever colloquialism you want to use, we're there.
We
And
we
so yeah.
look and we look like a broken family. That's
But
what pisses me off.
it's been broken, and
We just
like I said, they fumbled the bag. They had a chance to at least get 8 years, and they're only
just
going to get 4 because I'm sorry, they're not going to find anyone to replace Biden.
but
Biden
just
had that press conference today. I need to watch it because he's supposed to have this press conference today, and that was supposed to be his thing of letting people know how he's doing and all that stuff. So I'll look
but
at CNN after this.
just back your guy. Go down with the ship. And it seems like so many of these Democratic politicians are so afraid to latch their name to someone that could lose, and the Republicans don't give a fuck. The Republicans get behind these closed doors and they don't care. They gonna keep coming at you, because they know the Democratic politicians are weak. Not all of them, but enough of them are weak. When you start showing that chink in the armor, I literally could not believe they were coming out on TV. It's one thing to say it behind closed doors, but you're coming out on CNN interviews, MSNBC interviews, saying, yeah, he can't run. He just doesn't look fit." Or Marcus, I was like, "Are
Because
you fucking kidding
when
me?"
you recognize a chink in the armor, Calvin, that's what happens. So this is our opportunity to pounce. They've been saying it. The word is they've been saying it behind closed doors for the last 4 years. Ever since he's been in office, there has been this murmur that he's not fit. Now that he's shown it nationwide, now that we've seen it nationwide, this is the opportunity for people to jump in. Once you get the blood in the water, you can go ahead and jump in. And so, what was being said behind closed doors, now that everybody's seen it, it's okay to come out and say, "Hey, man, he ain't fit."
It's
And
it's
I
it's
don't think this is
okay.
new. I don't think this is new. I think people have felt this way for the last 4 years, but they could not come out and say it without proof. Now that he has laid it out there that the nation saw it, it makes it easier to come out.
It's okay for people that have nothing to lose, but it hurts
Oh,
the
sure.
people that you're supposed to be
I
representing.
mean,
They should have,
hey,
like you said, they should have been grooming someone for 4 years. Actually, they should have been grooming someone since Trump was in office. They literally had 8 years to groom someone for this point in America's history.
I don't think it's Westmore. So, all right, so let's go ahead and go. And Orioles about to get swept. They're losing 8-0 in the middle of the 7th inning. All right, so
Goodness gracious. Hey, yeah, man. So it was another good show.
yeah, no B.I.G next week, y'all. We love y'all though.
and we got. Have you been watching? We talked about the Bear. I finished the Bear, but I just started something else. Supercell. You watch Supercell?
I watched the first episode. I need to go back and
So
concentrate again.
I watched the first episode and I was just like, "What in the world?" But it ended really good, and the next 2 episodes, it's starting to get good. There's only 6 episodes, so it's starting to get good.
I'm
Make
gonna
sure
have to go
you
back to it.
watch Supercell.
I'm
And I don't
watching the
know.
Orioles tonight, so maybe I'll
Yeah,
start.
I'm not. They start with the Yankees tomorrow. We need those three, two out of those 3 games going into the All-Star break. So
Hey,
anyway,
they play better against the AL East, and so we'll see what happens.
they play their best against the AL East, actually. So
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. Anyway, let me hit this outro. And hey, man, have a nice vacation. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you. I only played one season with the Grays, y'all.
You have been listening
Y'all
to
can't find
the
second
B.I.G.
season in
Show.
the stats.
This show was produced and written by Calvin Coates and Garland Thomas for All Things Black Productions. Follow us on all of your
It was my avatar
podcast
out there
media
for the
platforms.
second season. It wasn't my
No,
body.
it was me out there for the second season.
It was good seeing you though out there.
Later, man.
Peace.